So I think this is part 4 of my kind of, I guess, diary series on voice AI, where I kind of break down the side projects I'm working on, where it's client projects or just side projects I'm building. What I'm mostly doing the past couple of days is playing fixing up a pipe project I'm building in Pipecat. The reason why I'm actually building this in Pipecat because there's two things the client wanted to do. He wanted to have the capability to encrypt some certain type of data before it gets sent to LLM, and he also wanted the capability to deploy in other regions outside of the typical, I guess, U.S. region where most of these like voice AI softwares kind of deploy or have all their code infrastructure at. So I think the best thing when he was telling me that, the best thing I could think of that kind of fit this description, the flexibility to do that was, Picat, so I went with Picat. Um, I guess first of all, setting up Picat itself wasn't too hard 'cause, luckily, even though there's surprisingly very, very little videos on Picat, not some reason not many people are kinda making videos on this content. Maybe because not too many people are building on Pipecat yet, but, Pipecat has straight out, like, code examples and documentation that makes it set up pretty easy. So, the first component I was actually working on after I kinda set up Pipecat was, the encryption, component, which again, was one thing that sounded at least easier than it actually kind of looked, or it didn't take forever because I could leverage AI. Well, it took me way longer if I couldn't. But what Picat does actually is that in its code it isn't directly like in the at least the code example they give you. Um, there's nowhere in the code where it's directly taking the data from one model and push it to the other model. So when I say that, like nowhere in the code is it actually taking like, for example, the scribe text from the SAT model and pushing it to the LM model. There's nowhere in the direct code. It's actually I guess the libraries or frameworks of PyCat that kind of handle that. And I think the specific framework that in some sense handles that is the pipeline framework. So I kinda to kind of figure out how to do this, I kind of had to go in their code base and actually kind of go to their code base, find their code for the pipeline, and actually look through all their code, and not just the pipeline. I had to go look through their, let's see, services, let's see, like, some deepgram. So I had to go look through I had to go look through pretty much all their code. Even then, I didn't really understand it. I think I have to kind of one thing I know I have to kind of definitely improve on is actually my capability to actually read and understand code. I rely on AI a lot to build projects, so my capability to kind of straight out read or understand code off the bat is not good. So I kind of threw a lot of these stuff into AI to kind of break down. So I gave it all the files I kind of needed context of, which was just it was like the SCT library, was the pipeline library that I need context of, the SCT library I need context of, the LLM library, I guess where the aggregator. So I gave them aggregated the frames. So I gave them context of everything. They had context of everything. I told them to kind of break down and kind of explain the code. And then even then, I still had a hard time understanding it. So I even until the AI just to kind of write me a solution for this, which it was able to do pretty much. It was able to figure out a solution to this. The basic component I kind of got from it, from all the explanations and stuff, is that you have the pipeline. And what it kinda does is that every, I guess, output from the library, so there's a specific output from the library that is able to be stored in a certain specific value and move over to the next, I guess, component of the pipeline pretty much. So that's how I'm kind of transcribing it before it reaches the or encrypting it before it reaches the LM. Where I added extra functionality in here that will take that output, take that specific value or output that's getting passed to the context area user, which is what adds the context, which adds the message a message context inside the LM. Before it goes there, I run another function that encrypts it and that encrypts that specific value that the SCT was gonna send there before, and makes sure and encrypts it before it actually gets sent to, I guess, the LM's context pretty much, which is a pretty bad explanation of it, but that's the best way I could kind of explain it. So I had AI create me this, I guess, this class pretty much. Though I was looking for Pipecat tutorials, and it seems like I could there's probably code I could actually write to do this instead of running AI. There's probably a better way, at least compared to their what they kind of recommend in their documentation, how I could actually do this because they mention stuff like they mention let's see here. So they mentioned the user transcript. They mentioned stuff like the transcribed text, the user transcription. So I could probably take some of these value. I can probably use some of these to actually take the value, encrypt it, and then send it to the I guess the context aggregator, the LM, so it can generate its response. Then I guess the next big thing after that that I kind of need, I was doing research on, was actually deploying this thing. Um, And like I mentioned before, the reason why I use Pipecat is because I want the capability to deploy it outside of like the typical US regions that usually I guess voice AI software is kind of deployed. Either it is US or you either pay for an enterprise plan to kind of get on premise or custom deployments pretty much. So one of the main things I was actually kind of looking at first was trying to understand is if I should go here, let me see. Let's see. Was trying to understand this the WebSocket or the WebRTC concept, and I understand the basic concept of WebSockets and RTC, which is their bidirectional channel. You send requests through it. You can send requests both ways. I understand what it's the basic component of what it's used for. What I don't understand is technically what I was trying to figure out was what actually is a WebRTC. What is a WebSocket? Like if I was deploying something, like is it something physical? Like, is it do I have when I'm deploying something, do I have to actually, worry about where I'm deploying this WebRTC or WebSocket? So I was asking AI kind of to break it down to me. I think that's what I kind of first did at first. I kind of asked AI to kind of break down what let me see if I have it up here. No, I have a bunch of Python stuff. Okay, thank you. No, no, no. Well, somewhere here, I was talking to how to break it down and how to kind of, yeah, I think over here, I was talking to and have it to kind of break down what are WebSockets and WebRTCs are, what are they pretty much. And I think I got like at least idea or concept of how it works from their daily documentation on how to deploy this thing. So if I go to overview and the deployment pattern, let me see. They actually have the deployment infrastructure or how it'll kind of set up. So you have the HPT service, you have the PyCat bot, and then you have the transport layer. And how they describe it here is that let's see. So this may be a service that you want to host, including your deployment, or maybe a third-party service waiting for your peers to connect, such as Daily or WebSocket. So what I'm assuming that it actually it's not something physical, but you have the kind of like how you have HTTP requests where you have the client, you have the server. I guess the Websox and WebRTC work the same way, where you have your server, so that's the code, and you have the client, so you have like the I guess if you're connecting this Pipecat to Twilio, Twilio will be like the kind of the client or I guess the entry point or one of the points of the WebRTC WebSocket, and then your code would be another one of those points. And when I was looking at Twilio too, it seems like let me see, Twilio. It seems like you do deploy these somewhere actually. So Twilio says support for Twilio regions. You can use media streams in Ireland or Australia. So you do have to at least worry about the deployment of these things. So I think Twilio does have flexibility on Australia and Ireland. Has flexibility outside of US. I'm not sure if they can do more than Ireland or Australia. It'd be nice if they could do more than that. I have to do research on that. Um, Another thing is that so the original plan I was thinking of is I can just package the Pipecat into a Docker and deploy this into like a Cloud Run or something. It'd be that easy. But I was actually reading this the dailies the Pipecat CEO I guess this he did a guidebook or handbook he did on voice AI, and one of the things he mentioned is that you can't really deploy these things to Cloud Run or serverless. Like they don't the Cloud Run is not these serverless frameworks, they're not really meant for things, I guess things or I guess applications that use WebSocket or WebRTCs. So I guess one of the alternatives he gave is Kubernetes. Kubernetes is definitely something I feel like it's it's actually it's not it's a lot more it's less a lot less simple to set up than a serverless component, a lot less simple. So I was looking through Python documentation. They also mentioned alternatives to that outside of Kubernetes. Let me see. So they had a couple alternatives. They had the one that stood out to me is this Cebruim. I guess this is Cebruim platform, which they mentioned is serverless too, which is weird because they said that I don't know. After they said that serverless is not really. Let me see here. They said it's ideally you're not supposed to use a serverless framework. So that is weird. I have to do more research on how that kind of works. To be honest, on that I was kind of basing off what they kind of said. But see, where it does mention Pipecat that is a serverless framework. But still, they have documentation. So what's good about this thing, Cebruim, is that they have like complete documentation how to actually deploy this thing on their, um, I guess, platform, which is nice. The only thing the only thing I would mention or that would throw me off with kind of using Cerebron is that I think the cloud provider uses is AWS. And what I kind of wanted to do is that I wanted to use let's see I wanted to either use Azura or the Google models because those models allow you to deploy to a specific region. So if I wanted to deploy to Europe or Asia or whatever, I can deploy. At least like my understanding is that I can not deploy, but I can use the models they have hosted in that region. So it's not using it's not making a call to a model that's like all the way in like the in the US region, hosted in the US. So I wanted to specifically use Azure and Google. Now, if I'm gonna use Google or Azure or Google for I guess the model component, um, I thought it would be weird or inefficient to use AWS to host the code in AWS instead of using all one provider to kind of to host everything in one provider. So I was thinking of maybe just doing it in this, I mean, set up a Kubernetes on Azure or Google and just doing that. Now I don't know that Loki might be doing too much, so that's the issue. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like that'd be more efficient. Just have everything in one. I guess in one kind of cloud platform, pretty much. But I think that that's the kind of the main thing I've been kind of working on I guess the past 3 days. I'm also finishing up a prompt video that I wanted to do and post about, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a kind of overall what I've been kinda doing.